Hey, what's up, traders? Jack here from Solar Trades. Today, I want to go over a potentially really bad scenario for Bitcoin. This obviously is not me telling everyone to short, but I do want to go over like I said, potentially really bad outlook for Bitcoin, and just the overall crypto markets. Before we get into the video, though, I do just want to mention that I am a proud partner with Bybit. Check out the link in the description, and you can earn up to $30,000 in rewards. You can also get an exclusive sign-up bonus where if you are depositing $150 or more, you can get up a $25 bonus. I'm also a copy trader on Bybit. I'm currently one of the top 20 most profitable copy traders on the platform. Make sure to check out the link in the description below, and you can earn up to $15,000 by simply being a follower of my copy trading signals. Anyway, now that's out of the way, let's dive into this video. So, first and most important, as you guys can see, there's a really bad bearish candle right here, 3.67%. The reason for that is this. So, very big, popular crypto influencer, guy called Kobe, he tweeted out a SHA-256 hash, which pretty much, if you translate it, translates into Interpol red notice for CZ. This is not good. So CZ, obviously being the founder and owner of Binance as well as BNB, recently they've been under a lot of scrutiny and other stuff mostly in relation to US Binance or Binance US. However, it obviously has much bigger implications that if the SEC and other US government agencies are looking into him, that some further things are going on. And there has been some things for money laundering, market manipulation, just not following US regulations, blah, blah, blah. And that happened all like sometime last week or something. But today, again, Kobe, he tweeted out Interpol red notice for CZ. That's very, very bad, as what that pretty much means is that any sort of government agency, police force, or whatever, they're able to arrest CZ. And that's not good for obvious reasons. While this is simply just a tweet, I was doing some research into this. Me and my buddy we could not find absolutely anything backing this up. And again, we're doing some more basic, no sort of news agency posted it, right? I was checking everywhere, there was just no posting of this except for this tweet. And obviously it didn't even say in the tweet, you had to go and translate this hash code. But the outcome was major, right? Major cause or major consequences for that tweet. As you can see, this 4-hour candle right here opened up bullish. It opened up green, and then as soon as that tweet was made, it dumped almost 4%, right, in the matter of minutes. It all happened very, very fast. But as of right now, like I said, that is just FUD. There is absolutely nothing else backing up that tweet that I at least could find. Granted, I didn't spend crazy long looking into it, but just from what I've seen and what other traders will be basing that off, it's nothing more than just that tweet. However, obviously, if true, that could be catastrophic for crypto markets, Bitcoin, BNB, right? Because if Binance, I'm not saying Binance is insolvent or anything, but if something bad happens to the owner of Binance, the founder of Binance and BNB, that could be incredibly bad, right? Binance being obviously by far the biggest exchange in the world, CZ being one of the most, if not the most, influential character in crypto, maybe second most, only first being like Elon or something, right? But anyway, that it would be really bad. But even if it is all FUD, in my opinion, Bitcoin still does not look good, right? Here's a 12-hour chart of Bitcoin. And first, you could see very typical ascending wedge pattern. These patterns tend to play out really, really well, especially on Bitcoin, on these much larger, more structured patterns. They usually play out, and that would be obviously quite bearish for Bitcoin. As we could see, there's a ton of fair value gaps that need to be filled from this huge pump. I don't think Bitcoin's gonna go like that far down, right, to fill all of these gaps. However, there are still some really big fair value gaps down here that you guys could see. And I made a video yesterday kind of talking about my trading strategy and kind of showing you guys how important fair value gaps are and how often they are filled and respected. But that's a lot of room down. Let's just say Bitcoin were to fill this last one, that's a 25% drop. Even just filling the first one is almost a 10% drop, right? Filling the second one, 20%, right? Just under 20% drop. And if, like I said, price were to fully respect these fair value gaps, that's over 25% drop. While I don't necessarily think, like I said, there is enough even bearish momentum for that to happen, because this is definitely far from the biggest pattern ever, I still am expecting price to fill at least one of these fair value gaps. That would be ideal. If you look up onto Market Cipher, tons of bearish divergences, right? A lot of anchor waves. That's not good. VWAP's all the way down. Stock RSI, whenever you see stock RSI and RSI very close together like this, usually it does not have good implications. It has great implications if you're shorting, but if you are bullish, you definitely do not want to see something like that, because when they fall or pump together, like very, very close to each other, it's usually very strong. Like right here, for example, here's just a bullish example. Look at this. All right, they're very close together, and following suit, we see 15% pump, right? And just, what was that, like 2-3 days? Not even 2 days. So if we're seeing this on these higher time frames, this just is not a good look for price whatsoever. And like I said, we got a very hard rejection right here. We got a 4 tests. One, let me pull out this. We got 4 different tests. One there. Second one, like a day and a half later, got a third one right here, and then fourth one right here, right? All of those times getting rejected at this, like I said, very, very strong level at 28,823, almost 29K. And if we go back in time, we could see why this is a strong level. We could see this whole zone getting rejected, right? It eventually, price did fall through, but over here is where it really shows why this is such a strong level. We see this and this. Those are some of the biggest 12-hour wicks that we've seen in a very, 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 very long time. These wicks, I mean, alone, this one it's a 21% wick. This one being a little less, but still a 7% wick. These are incredibly strong levels, right? Incredibly, incredibly strong. And for price to get rejected, and like I said, then we see it being respected again over here for a little bit before obviously dumping through. But this is the first time since, what, about May of last year, almost a year ago, that price is testing these levels and just got rejected 4 times. And that's just really not the best. I guess you could say we got a quadruple top right here, and as well as everything else that's going on. Just in this chart, I'm not even talking about any other macro factors yet. I will get into it in just a little bit, but I'm just talking about Bitcoin real quick. With everything just going on with Bitcoin in of itself, This is a very, very bad outlook. So the one thing to take into consideration is whenever Bitcoin pumps or dumps, but in this case just came after a huge rally up from, I mean, it was only 80% rise since this year, right? It's up 80% so far. And it's a huge, huge rise. So whenever, and especially more recently, right, we see up 50%, right? More than half of its rise came from just this move, or yeah, pretty much this move since earlier this month. Well, last month actually. It's now April, March, right? In March, huge, huge move in March. So what could happen be if you are planning on shorting after this video, just take into consideration that whenever Bitcoin pumps, it tends to sometimes not necessarily follow more standard technical analysis or even fundamentals. Bitcoin's pumping, it's pumping, and it might pump for absolutely no reason whatsoever. It's just going up. However, I personally think that considering everything, Bitcoin will come down and I will be entering short soon. I don't know my exact entry yet. I don't know my exact plan yet. This video is more so just doing an overall analysis and on the markets, not necessarily me saying, oh, short right here, right? But I am planning on shorting. Again, I'm not sure yet where, how, what, but I do plan on shorting. But like I said, this just does not look good considering everything I just went over. It just doesn't look good. And there's a few more charts I want to go over. First, here's a BNB chart, which shows something very different. It actually shows BNB's, well, this is because of the FUD that's been happening with BNB, and not even FUD, I wouldn't call it, because it's actual real stuff. Will Binance be found guilty on any of the things? No. Could they? Yes. But there's been a lot of federal scrutiny and investigation and allegations within Binance and BNB recently, hence the massive downtrend instead of more so just consolidation. And even without it, BNB does tend to move slightly differently than Bitcoin for whatever reason. It's kind of a coin, it's got a mind of its own almost. But BNB is a massive player. So while this chart technically does show bullish, right? I mean, it was unfortunate. I was longing. Last night I entered a long, and I was up like 10% on it, but then being up 10% to getting stopped out in a matter of like 2 minutes earlier today wasn't fun. But BNB is showing fairly bullish trend, right? While we do have some fair value gaps down here, we are currently in the golden pocket on just the trend from this trend. We are in a golden pocket. And as you can see here, momentum waves, right? It's overall looking bullish. However, here's the thing. One, again, none of this could matter if Binance or CZ is found guilty on anything. This chart does not matter. Think of just price coming down here, right? This chart doesn't mean anything. And obviously, if that Interpol red notice turns out to be true, think Binance being all the way down here, BNB. And with BNB and Binance and CZ being so incredibly influential in the crypto space, as I was talking about in the beginning of the video, this could be really, really bad for the overall markets. Much, much worse than just Bitcoin dumping, right? Because like I said, Bitcoin does look bearish here, but if Binance gets into some serious trouble, this Bitcoin chart is going all the way down here, right? Whoops, let's go back to BNB. But hopefully, really hope that none of that actually turns out to be true, and maybe someone or something confirming that CZ is not on an Interpol red notice could very well send price way out of this, and it could move Bitcoin along, because BNB, like I said, is so incredibly influential in Binance in the space that BNB, some good news on BNB could in theory actually move the whole markets, right? Just like it moved the markets down, it could very well move the markets up. And maybe not even BNB in and of itself, but just Binance and CZ could. Good news surrounding them is good news for the whole market. Bad news surrounding them is bad news for the whole market. And that's truthfully why I think personally that if that Binance stuff didn't happen, I think price would have kept going up. Instead, it kind of stagnated here. Just a little consolidation, forming a very bearish pattern. But if none of that Binance stuff happened, I do think price could have just kept going. But like I said, due to all of just everything, it kind of just got stopped right here, and it's forming some bearish stuff. But that's kind of it for Binance, or for BNB. Two other charts I want to go over real quick is the dollar and SPX, but go over dollar first. So if anyone doesn't know, the dollar is usually DXY. It's usually seen as kind of like an inverse in the markets, meaning, and I'll show you guys what I mean by this. Notice how dollar's down, SPX is up, right? Dollar was up, SPY is down. I'll go over SPY in depth in a minute, but it's usually seen as an inverse. If the dollar is strong, most other assets are going to be down, and if the dollar is weak, most other assets will be up. So I know you guys have been hopefully paying attention to the global scene, but the dollar has been catching some shit recently. It hasn't been able to catch a break, with Russia saying that it's gonna, deal oil in the yuan, Chinese yuan, and then BRICS coming out and saying they're gonna try to create their own currency to rival the dollar. What else was it? I mean, just inflation's really bad, interest rates are bad. A ton of there was a few other things, like a bunch of African countries, and I think like India, they don't want to trade energy in the dollar anymore. A lot of major oil companies like Saudi Arabia, Russia, all of them, they're cutting oil production down, so the dollar hasn't been able to catch a break. However, obviously this is forming very, very bearish trend. However, the moment the dollar does catch a break, I think it is going to explode out of this trend, right? I think we might have to wick down, fill this order book just a little bit more, and I think that any sort of good news for the dollar that would in theory just send price flying out of here, which would obviously not be good at all for more traditional assets like SPY or Bitcoin or other assets, right? So I do have fundamentally, right now the dollar is very, very bearish. However, like I said, any sort of good news might come out soon, and it will send the dollar flying out of this descending wedge, and could very well make a new little trend high from here. It might pop above it, like over there or something. Last chart I really want to go over is here's SPX, SPY, S&P 500. And again, this is showing more so bearish, right? We see a few order blocks here mainly. And what was I saying? We see a few order blocks here, and there's some fairly strong resistance up here. And if my thought is that SPY might pop through for a little bit and then come right back down, and especially if the dollar does pop out of this trend, I think the dollar might go ever so slightly lower, just like I think SPY might go ever so slightly higher, and then SPY will come down, dollar will pop up. And obviously we all know that SPY or NASDAQ, right, them dumping just won't be good for Bitcoin, as it's going to follow. And whenever you see something like this where everything is lining up with each other, whether it be on the same chart, right, like Bitcoin, everything was lining up with each other, right, all the indicators, all of my analysis, everything was lining up. And especially when then other major assets and ETFs and indexes, whenever they all start lining up too, it really is a very, very strong indication of a future move. So again, I'm not saying that this is for sure, right? Tomorrow, the Ukraine war, Russia could, and Ukraine, they could sign a treaty, right? Peace treaty. And that's going to send everything absolutely flying, right? I don't know, something else really good could happen. The Fed comes out, emergency meeting, we're dropping interest rates way, way down. World peace could come out tomorrow. Who knows, right? We don't know. It could send price absolutely flying. But the point of this is that if everything is lining up with each other, right, all these major, like I said, assets are lining up with each other, it usually is a very, very strong indication of a future move. And this future move being a bearish one. And obviously our main concern is just crypto traders, which I assume you guys all are, is Bitcoin. But you really do have to pay attention to other asset classes like SPY, right, NASDAQ, DIA, the dollar. There's a lot of more things you have to look into, as well as just being aware of the current fundamentals and news that are out there. Like I said, there's a lot of heat going on with Binance and BNB. There's a lot of heat going on with the dollar right now. So it all depends. But if everything does play out the way that I'm seeing it to play out, I think that Bitcoin will be coming down. And it might come down pretty hard and fast. Overall, like over the next few months, year or so, I do expect Bitcoin to climb back up to where it is. I'm not a perma bear. I really hope my analysis is completely wrong and we could be longing, right? I love a bull market, but I'm just saying that I think just for the time being, Bitcoin needs to come down a little bit and test some lower levels before it goes back up. But I've kind of gone over everything I have needed to go over. If you guys have any questions, concerns, want to share your own thoughts, please post it in the comments below. Make sure to join my Discord, discord.gg/solartrades. That link will also be below. Post signals, news, education for all types of markets, crypto, stocks, options, forex, futures, indices, NFTs, you name it, we have it. And lastly, make sure to check out our social medias. Again, everything will be linked in the description. But for now, I will see you guys until next video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys.